In the beginning of the episode, we see a guy wakes up, walks to the bathroom, and is shocked to see a stranger's reflection in the mirror, illuminated by moonlight. He thinks, "This isn't me. Who is that?" Let's rewind the story a bit before we continue. 2 weeks ago, we saw a guy, Daniel, our main character, who was brutally bullied in a restroom. A group of bullies demanded money, beat him, and forced him to do humiliating tasks, such as barking like a pig. They kicked and punched him in the face, leaving him feeling helpless and suicidal. Daniel lives with his widowed mother, who struggles to make ends meet by collecting scraps. He wants to help her, but feels unable to do so. Later we see at home, Daniel cooks noodles while singing, but his mom's arrival and compliment makes him uncomfortable. She accidentally adds eggs, triggering Daniel's anger about his weight. While eating, he's reminded of being bullied and asks to transfer schools, feeling academically left behind. His mom explains they can't afford it, and Daniel lashes out, shouting, "Who needs friends if I can't get good grades?" He punches the wall, which breaks, and regretfully says, "What have you ever done for me?" before quietly retreating to his room, feeling overwhelmed and falling asleep. The next day at school, we see Daniel walks into class with a sad expression, still seemingly affected by the previous day's events. As he's lost in thought, a girl bumps into him and accusingly says he wasn't watching where he was going. Daniel quickly retorts that she was the one distracted by her phone. Just then, Logan, the class bully, appears and menacingly tells Daniel to meet him at the playground, likely intending to continue the bullying. On the playground, Daniel is being bullied by Logan and his friends. They're teasing him, saying that whoever hits Daniel in the face will win a bet or get bragging rights. Daniel tries to dodge their attacks, but unexpectedly, he gets hit in the face when Logan's friend takes a turn. Logan is surprised, then gets angry and starts punching Daniel in the gut repeatedly. Just as it seems like Daniel can't take it anymore, his mom suddenly appears on the scene. Daniel is embarrassed and says, "Mom." His mom immediately goes to his side and asks, "Are you okay?" Then, she turns to Logan and says, "Why did you hit my son?" while lightly tapping Logan's arm with her hand. Logan tries to downplay the situation, saying, "It's no big deal, lady, we were just playing." But Daniel's mom is not having it, saying, "What do you mean by playing when you hurt my son?" The crowd around them starts to snicker and whisper, making Daniel feel even more embarrassed. He pleads with his mom to stop, saying, "Mom, stop it. This is so embarrassing." But then, Daniel's mom suddenly becomes silent and looks at him surprisingly, seemingly because of his language. It's as if she's shocked by his tone or choice of words.
When Daniel returns home, his mom asks him to talk, but he feels overwhelmed with sadness and regret from the earlier incident. He looks down at the ground, trying to muster the courage to speak to his mom. "Mom, about earlier," he starts to say. His mom reveals, "I went to your school today to discuss your transfer with the principal." Daniel is surprised. "Oh, really?" His mom continues, "Daniel, I won't be coming here anymore. Who needs friends if you're studying, right? You'll be fine." She tries to reassure him. "Don't worry, I'll send you money." As she speaks, Daniel's eyes well up with tears, and he looks down at the ground, his tears dripping onto the floor. Now the scene shifts to Momaith, the moment where we see Daniel sets off on his journey to his new place. And as he walks, he notices that the road ahead is a bit long. But he reassures himself, who cares if it's long? It's good exercise. He reminds himself that this marks a new beginning, like turning over a new leaf. He's determined to start fresh and make the most of this new chapter in his life. After arriving at his new place, Daniel calls his mom to check in. "Hey Mom, I'm here. The place is a bit small, but I'll manage. My belongings haven't arrived yet, so I'll go shopping later." His mom expresses concern for him, but Daniel reassures her, "Don't worry, Mom. I'll be okay. I'll settle in and make the most of this new start." Then we see Daniel wandered through the bustling streets, lost in thought as he took in the beautiful scenery and the vibrant people surrounding him. His reverie was interrupted when he accidentally collided with a girl named Mira. To his surprise, she apologized for the collision, which sparked a newfound determination in Daniel. He decided then and there to start fresh, leaving his past behind. Just then, Zach arrived on the scene, inquiring about Mira's well-being and whether she knew Daniel. Mira denied any acquaintance, which only seemed to fuel Zach's suspicion. As they began to walk away, Zach noticed Daniel's subtle smile and pressed him for an explanation. Daniel tried to brush it off, but Zach persisted. In an attempt to ease the tension, Daniel suggested they all grab a cup of coffee together. Zach agreed, but then suddenly unleashed a brutal attack on Daniel, punching him until he fell to the ground, bleeding. The crowd gathered, watching and filming the scene, with some onlookers cruelly commenting that Daniel got what he deserved and mocking him mercilessly. Next, we see Daniel sits in front of a screen, his eyes fixed on a video that makes his heart sink. The footage shows him being brutally beaten, the blows landing with sickening thuds. The caption is just as cruel, and Daniel's eyes well up with tears as he reads the vicious comments below. Online trolls mercilessly attack him, their words cutting deep into his fragile psyche. As he scrolls through the comments, memories of Logan's hurtful words flood back, and the pain of that moment becomes almost too much to bear. Daniel's tears become uncontrollable sobs, and he crumples to the ground, overcome with grief. Eventually, exhaustion takes over, and he falls asleep, still crying heavily. Then on the next scene, we see Daniel wakes up, feeling a strange sense of disorientation. As he tries to get up and head to the bathroom, he notices that his surroundings seem different, and everything appears lower than usual. When he approaches the mirror, illuminated by moonlight, he's shocked by his reflection and falls to the ground. As he regains consciousness, Daniel sees his own body lying peacefully on the ground, and he tries to wake it up. However, his body starts snoring loudly, and in a moment of frustration, he slaps his own face. Suddenly, he falls asleep again and wakes up in a different body. Confused and disbelieving, Daniel wonders if it was all just a dream. But as he moves his face and sees the body he previously occupied, he realizes that it wasn't just a dream. He tries to wake up the body, but it won't budge. Daniel falls asleep again and wakes up in the unfamiliar body. As he comes to terms with his new reality, Daniel sees a post on his phone about himself getting beaten up, along with hurtful comments. He remembers the painful words Logan said to him and feels a surge of motivation. With this new body, Daniel feels like he can change his life. Later, the scenes shift to a bustling high school campus, where students proudly showcase their unique styles. A blonde-haired guy, oozing confidence and self-assurance, catches his reflection in a mirror and can't help but admire himself. He smirks, seemingly enthralled by his own good looks. But his self-absorption is abruptly interrupted when he collides with Daniel, a handsome young man with chiseled features and piercing green eyes. After a brief pause, Daniel apologizes for the accident, his voice sincere and gentle. However, the blonde-haired guy is left speechless, his eyes fixed on Daniel as if struck by his beauty. The surrounding crowd whispers in awe, speculating if Daniel is a model, their voices filled with curiosity and admiration. Then, the scene shifts to a classroom where Daniel is introduced as the new transfer student. All eyes are on him as he walks in, and most students are immediately drawn to his good looks. However, some students don't seem impressed, even looking uncomfortable or displeased.